Okay, so what is the ethical dilemma in this case? The main ethical dilemma in this case is the conflict between personal loyalty and professional duty. Having to choose between maintaining a close friendship and prioritizing the project's quality, safety, and funds causes a tension to arise. Will the engineer decides to choose the friend's offer, it may affect the engineer's impartiality in making decisions.
Imagine you're an engineer reviewing bids for a new power plant. Suddenly, your brother's company submits a proposal. If you help them win, your family benefits, but is this fair to the project? This is a classic conflict of interest, and it's one of the biggest ethical risks in engineering. Conflict of interest occurs when personal relationships, financial gains, or other private interests will sway your professional decisions. It's not always legal, but it's always unethical. Now, let's be absolutely clear. In engineering, conflict of interests aren't just unethical, they're dangerous. Whether it's harmless favor for a friend or undisclosed financial ties, the consequences always ripple outwards, and they always end in damage. Start with the most immediate danger, safety risk. Imagine you're inspecting steel beams for a new bridge. Your university classmate now supplies them. You ignore minor defects, just this once. Then one rainy night, the bridge fell. Cars plunged into the river. The investigation? It traced back to your ignorance. This isn't just a story. In 2018, the Genoa bridge collapsed, killed 43 people. The inquiry found years of overlooked warnings, all because cozy relationships replaced rigorous checks. But even when disasters are avoided, something else collapses. Public trust. Take the UK's Grenfell Tower inquiry. Revelations about cost-cutting and lax oversight didn't just anger families. They made every citizen question, can I trust the systems meant to protect me? And once that trust is broken, good luck getting communities to support new hospitals or green energy projects. Taxpayers think if engineers play favorites, why should we pay for it? Which brings us to the personal fallout, the career ending repercussions. In 2021, a London utilities engineer was jailed for 18 months. His crime? Approving contracts for a firm that thanked him with luxury holidays. The judge called it a betrayal of the professions. That's the reason why it is concerned in engineering. Endanger's life, erode trust, and lose everything. Your license, your reputation, and your freedom.
So how should the engineer handle the situation ethically? The standard action to take in this situation would be to politely decline the offer as it violates the code of ethics. It is fine to prioritize personal relationships, but not at the cost of ethics. However, should it be required, the engineer should properly document the details of the friend's offer. If the friend is still interested to score the contract, the engineer could forward the details of the offer to the project manager for consideration. In this case, it would be wise for the engineer to politely request to be left out from the discussion to avoid any bias that might affect their evaluation and maintain fairness. In the worst case scenario, would the friend decide to retaliate or make false claims towards towards the engineer will have the evidence to protect themselves.
What are the possible consequences of accepting a bribe as an engineer in Malaysia? Accepting a bribe as an engineer in Malaysia carries severe and far-reaching consequences under the country's strict anti-corruption laws. These consequences span legal, professional, financial, and ethical domains, significantly impacting an individual's career, freedom, and reputation. Malaysia enforces stringent anti-corruption laws with severe penalties for bribery offences. Under MACC Act 2009, Section 16, bribery offences, it is punishable by imprisonment of up to 20 years, a fine of 5 times the bribe amount or 10,000, whichever is higher. For Section 70, gratification to agents, it applies to both giving and accepting bribes in an official capacity. Similar to penalties as Section 16, And then next, Section 18, a corruption transaction with agents. It covers illicit dealings such as kickbacks in procurement or contract awards. Next, for employment, immediate termination for employment without severance. Blacklisting from government and government-linked projects such as from Ministry of Finance, and there are potential civil lawsuits from affected parties, such as companies or clients that harmed by corrupted practices. And then next, for professional consequences, engineers found guilty of bribery face severe professional repercussions. It can cause license suspension or revocation, which is the Board of Engineers Malaysia, BEM, can revoke or suspend an engineer license for unethical conduct, which is effectively ending their legal ability to practice. And then next, industry blacklisting. A Construction Industry Development Board CIDB may ban the engineer from participating in future projects. Private firms and government agencies may refuse to hire or engage the engineer, and it can cause reputation damage, which is loss of professional credibility, making it difficult to secure future employment or contracts. Next, there is of ethical and public safety risks. Beyond legal penalties, bribery undermines professional integrity and public safety. It can cause violation of professional ethics, which engineers are bound by the BEM Code of Conduct, which mandates honesty and accountability. Breaching this standard tarnishes the profession's reputation. And then next, it can cause a risk of failures. Bribes may influence decisions leading to poor quality materials, unsafe design, or unqualified contractors. This can result in construction failures, accidents, or even fatalities, such as building collapse and bridge failure. Next, here are some notable Malaysian corruption cases that involve bribery. First cases, Kuala Lumpur International Airport 2 scandal in 2013, which involved parties of senior engineers from Airport Authority, procurement officials. The bribe amounts are total of 40 millions in kickbacks, which payment made through Shell's company. And the legal consequences, 7 engineers sentenced to 10 until 15 years of imprisonment. And it costs 102,000 million in total fine imposed, which is 3 times the bribe amount. The complete blacklisting of 3 construction firms from the government project is also affected. Next, the impact of the project is 18-month delay in completion and 800 million in additional costs. It requires complete re-audit of all materials and contractors, which would cause a waste of time. And next, for the second case, Sarawak Dam construction corruption in 2015 until 2018. It involved parties of 23 licensed engineers and 12 contracting firms. There are bribe amounts which cost 300 millions over 3 years, hidden as consultancy fee in project budgets. However, the legal consequences, it is longest individual sentence, which imposed of 18 years imprisonment, 450 million in assets recovered through MACC investigation, and 15 professional engineering licenses are permanently revoked. The safety and financial impact. Discovery of critical structural deficiency, and it requires 70 million in emergency repairs. This caused 6-month operational suspension for safety inspections. And then next, how can companies prevent ethical conflicts in project bidding and processes? To maintain integrity in procurement processes, organizations must implement robust systems that prevent bribery, favoritism, and conflict of interest. So here is comprehensive framework. First, policy foundation. Anti-corruption framework. It developed clear guidelines prohibiting unofficial communication with bidders and employment of vendor affiliated relatives without recusal. Training program. It conducts quarterly ethics workshop covering Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC regulations, real-world bribery scenarios, proper documentation procedures, and consequences of ethical violations. Next, transparent bidding mechanism. Vendor management. They implement a 3-stage vetting process, and first, initial financial viability check, which is audited segment and liquidity ratios. Second stage, technical capability assessment, qualified personnel and equipment. And the last stage, past performance evaluation. It requires project history and client references. Digital procurement system. Recommended feature is automated bid logging with timestamp verification. AI-powered anomaly detection which flag bids within 2% of each other, multi-level approval workflows, segregation of duties, public bid opening ceremonies when applicable. For third, conflict mitigation strategies. Disclosure requirements. It's mandate annual declarations of family relationships with potential vendors, personal investment exceeding 5% in related business, previous employment with bidding firms at its last 5 years. And for recusal protocol, clear escalation path when conflict arises. Firstly, immediate supervisor notification within 24 hours, HR documentation, which is formal conflict registry, alternative evaluated assignment from pre-approved pool.